Hi guys, it's Ray here from City Fan TV. Well, an unexpected live stream for you guys today, but it's just put my City hat on as well. I'm in the mood. I'm in the mood, guys. Man City. We've just heard about the full CAS award ruling. All the papers. I mean, there's 93 blooming pages to read. 93 pages. I haven't read them all. I started reading it, and I'll be honest, I got bored after about 6 or 7 or 8 pages. It's a lot of legal stuff there, a lot of procedural stuff, but the main things that's come out of it, we knew we were exonerated, and we've been even more, in my opinion, exonerated. You will get people like Martin Ziegler, the Times journalist, who is still trying to put a negative spin on this. You know, journalists are going to pour over all 93 pages of this report, looking for any little thing that they can grasp on, any little thing they can cling on to try and say, oh no, City are still cheats, it wasn't proven, or anything like that. You just know it's going to happen, guys. It's just going to happen. And part of me just says, leave them to it. Just let them get on with it. Let them, waste their time, because we know where they're coming from. We know where they're coming from. They're just out there, whatever the reason is, they've got this agenda. Quite a lot of them, I'm not saying Martin Ziegler in particular, but a lot of journalists, we've seen them, they've got this agenda against Manchester City. For whatever reason it is, it might be that, Manchester City are challenging their favoured club. It might be that Manchester City are owned by Arabs. I think some journalists it's got to be an issue. They don't like these Arabs, these brown chaps, these interlopers coming to our country and winning all our league titles. And you've got obviously the leagues like Senor Tebas in the president of La Liga having a pop at City and everything else. So there's a lot of hatred, distaste, jealousy, that for no reason, you've got a competitor. Rise to the challenge. Don't blame your competitor for your own weaknesses, for your own feelings. And Khaldun Al-Mubarak, chairman, has said as much. Don't blame your own mistakes, your own failings on Manchester City. Don't use Manchester City as an excuse for your own mistakes. And I'll quickly tell you that story about Chelsea. People want to complain about City. City bought Bernardo Silva for 37 million. That's sort of fantastic player. I think we've all seen that. Chelsea bought Danny Drinkwater from Leicester for, was it 120 million? No, whatever it was a lot of money. No, they were paying him 120 grand a week or something. They paid about 40 million for Danny Drinkwater, paying him 120 grand a week. City got Leroy Sané for about 37 million quid, paying him 60 grand a week. You've got Chelsea buying, Bakayoko for about 40 million. Come on, you making mistakes in transfer business, don't blame City. Hello, Mana. UEFA's whole evidence was based on leaked emails that have now been proven to be doctored. Well, I've not read it. I've not said they've been doctored. But there are some interesting. The cheating accusation eases the pain of rival supporters. Our amazing footballers hurt them. Now, what are they going to do? Absolutely right, buddy. Absolutely right. They're still gonna say it's because, unfortunately, you've got a few journalists who can't admit they're wrong. They've got their agenda. They've set it. Yeah, and they're going to keep pushing it. So it gives some nugget head fans an opportunity to have something to cling on to, like the way the journalists pushed the Jordan Henderson, the Football Writers Association award for the Footballer of the Year. They pushed him. They pushed for that. They voted for it. It's their award, and they were all pushing that same argument. So when he gets it, all the fans that want to be on his side, Liverpool fans and a few others, the agenda is there. It's been written by these journalists, by the media people. It's all there. So they just pick it up and say, yeah, let's run with it. Jordan Henderson deserves it. And if they know anything about football on the pitch, or anything about anything off the pitch, They know he didn't deserve it. We did it. You know, if it was off pitch stuff, Marcus Rashford deserved it. If it was on the pitch, I can name 5 Liverpool players who deserved it more than Jordan Henderson. In my opinion, you got Sadio Mane, Mo Salah, Robertson, Van Dijk, Trent Alexander-Arnold. And there's 5 just quickly. I'm not even mentioning Alisson, who makes a big difference to them as well. So there's bits and pieces in this report that are interesting, that are worth. I hope you can see my T-shirt. I had to get this one. It's a bit small for me, but I had to get this out. Stick that up UEFA, and we're calling them the Nefarious Nine. The 9 clubs that wrote to CAS trying to make sure they didn't delay, or that Man City didn't delay the hearings until it was too late for this year's Champions League. Yeah, where actually, in fact, City were pushing for this to be done as quickly as possible because it does have an impact on this year's Champions League and on future signings. We wanted it done and dusted. Why these 9 clubs had to port their noses in? Honestly, we just don't know why they had to do that. And what I'm going to try and do is look at some of the stuff that's come out today very briefly. Not going to go through too much, but there's 3 or 4 bits and pieces that I want to look at. I'm just pulling up all my documents now, guys. Just going to bear with me a second. There's a load of stuff. Maybe got a bit too much. Anyway, let's just go through it. There's an interesting one early on before I get to the meaty stuff. But it said under the terms of the Etihad sponsorship agreements, MCFC was contractually entitled to sponsorship fees and bonuses of £220 million over 3 seasons. 20. I mean, they've got the seasons a bit mixed up at Have CAS, but that's a lot of money. That's I need to look at that in a little bit more detail to see exactly what that was all about, because that looks like a hell of a lot of money for 3 or 4 seasons. If it was 5 seasons, yeah, I can understand it. Anyway, that's one little bit that you get from the CAS report. I'm just going to look for a couple more things from that CAS report. Let's just move a couple of things out of my way. So I'm just looking at my desktop. Just bear with me, guys. So here's the conclusion. It says, in view of all the above, there is no doubt payment obligations towards MCFC, and that MCFC rendered the contractual services to Etihad in return. The majority of the panel finds that Etihad sponsorship agreements are presumed to be negotiated at fair value, and that MCFC, HHSM, that's Sheikh Mansour, and ADUG, Abu Dhabi United Group, and Etihad are considered not to be related parties. The Etihad sponsorship agreements were legally binding contracts. There is no evidence that agreements were backdated or that MCFC otherwise alleged violations following the publications of leaked emails. That's basically saying that the money that Etihad said they pay City is all proper and above board. They were not related parties, as in, you're my brother, do this, or there's a related party thing. It's all to do with basically accounting concepts, and that it was a fair value. So the sponsorship that Etihad had to give to City, we always knew this. It was always fair value. Yeah, it's what any third party could have been reasonably expected to have paid to City. So there's no issues there. And the important thing is they say there's no evidence that agreements were backdated or City tried to retrospectively to cover up any alleged violations following the publication of the leaked emails. City called them stolen. They called them leaked. So that's basically saying City have done now wrong. We can't prove anything wrong. Okay. Another thing that was, I'm just messing about here, guys. Just tidying up my. One of the issues for City, okay, where the fine came from, and originally it was a 3-year ban from the Champions League. 2-year ban from the Champions League and a €30 million fine. That was all chucked in the bin. And where the €10 million fine that eventually came up, they come up with, where that came from is because City didn't cooperate. Here's a couple of things. Let me see if I can get this. It said, furthermore, the majority of the panel finds that the new evidence presented by MCFC in the present proceedings before CAS, Court of Arbitration for Sport, in particular the witnesses made available, i.e. Mr. Pierce, Mr. Widdowson and Mr. Hogan, and the letters from Sheikh Mansour and Mr. Al-Asaya, had an impact on the panel's findings. The panel cannot put itself in the shoes of the adjudicatory chamber that's of UEFA, at the time of issuance of the appealed decision. But it finds that the possibility cannot be excluded that the adjudicatory chamber may have reached the same conclusions as the panel in the present proceedings had such evidence been made available to it. The relevance of this is that MCFC may have avoided the appeal decision by already filing such evidence before the CFCB. That's part of UEFA. That's it. One of their chambers. The appeal decision is therefore not per se wrong, but at least to a certain extent, is a consequence of MCFC's decision to produce the most relevant evidence at its disposal, all in the present appeal arbitration proceedings before CAS. Okay, let's just see if there's anybody on board for this. It's just you and me, man. A lot of people watching, but they're not commenting. No problem. I'll move on to the last thing. Now, we were aware, or we thought we were aware of this hateful eight clubs that wrote to UEFA, that wrote to CAS, saying that City didn't delay going into next season. Okay, they wanted it with now. And City wanted it dealt as quickly as possible because they said we will be exonerated, as has been proven. So they wanted it done as quickly as possible because it affects the football club. You know, this cloud hanging over the club, besmirching of the name, dragging it through the mud. And it can affect players' decisions whether to come. I mean, you know, you want to get someone like, let's say, Lautaro Martinez. He's 22 years old. He wants a 5-year contract. He wants to play in the Champions League. And he's not sure if you're going to be in it. He's going to think twice. So anyway, here's a thing that what CAS said. I mean, it's not a hateful eight. It was a nefarious 9. There was 9 clubs, apparently. It says, on the 9th of March, 2020, 9 Premier League clubs filed an application for intervention pursuant to Article R41.3 and R54 CAS code for the limited purpose of opposing any possible request for a stay of execution of the appeal decision. Application for intervention with the following: Arsenal, Burnley, Chelsea, Leicester, Liverpool, Man United, Newcastle, Tottenham, and Wolverhampton Wanderers. So basically, they didn't want this to be delayed. They actually were hoping to get City punished, and get themselves, you know, possibly. That's why we're talking about 5th place might get in the Champions League. You know, we were looking at who might get a place in the Europa League, and you know, it doesn't sit very nicely with me that they did such a thing. You know, stabbed City in the back. Hi, Adam, hope you're well. They stabbed City in the back over this, which I thought was pretty disgusting. Now, it's not. I'm just talking. I won't say the name of the journalist. I've been chatting with a journalist at the time because I was surprised to find Newcastle amongst that list, and he explains that because obviously you got the Saudi takeover in the works at that time. So it made sense for them to go against City for there wasn't many competitive reasons because Newcastle weren't really looking at getting into the Champions League or possibly the Europa League. But there's a lot of geopolitical reasons, a lot of arguments going on. I said it was crazy for those clubs. They should have just left the court to make its decision and, you know, not done anything like this, I believe, because you stuck your noses in. Everybody knows about it now. It's not a good look. It's not a good look to say that you connived, you went behind City's back, you did all this to try and, you know, further yourselves. Yeah. I'm just trying to read what he said. He said, and I said, what's going to happen is when these clubs want City to make support the decision, City will think twice. Now, City won't, I don't think, do things stuff to cut off the nose to spite the face. But I think there's a good chance because, you know, City are a business at the end of the day. But all those, and this is what he said, all those shareholder meetings about a bigger slice of the pie for the bigger clubs won't be so straightforward because City can say, you stabbed us in the back. So they had nothing to gain really by doing this. They just thought they were Billy Big Bollocks and they could get involved. Yeah. If City's suspension had been upheld, it would have gone down to 5th place anyway. So why do you have to go behind everybody's back? And I hope the Premier League look at this because, you know, you're supposed to sort out your disputes with the Premier League or intern. You don't go around doing something like this. So I really do hope that the Premier League look at this You know, you might have seen some tweets recently about that. I'm just looking at someone's just. I call them. Can I use the word on this channel? Utter something bags. And someone wrote back to me, an Arsenal fan, my Arsenal. But they're really, really bad for doing what they've done. And I really hope that City do slap them around. I really hope that City say, you know, for the sake of a few million quid, we're not going to go for that. We're not going to help you get what you want. Hi, Faris. Yes, I know it's come out at the blue, but that CAS paperwork has come out of the blue. The 93 pages, which I haven't read them all, the 93 pages of that CAS award has been published now. We've been waiting for it. It was supposed to be out last week. We were told it's going to be out last week. City were expecting it out last week. I've not seen a reason for the delay yet. I've asked, in my position as a journalist, I've asked CAS for the reasons. I don't think they told anybody what the reason for the delay was. But there's lots of elements that were redacted. Hi, Sam. I hope Karma catches them. I hope so too. There was lots of elements that were redacted. Now, what that means, basically, just blacked out elements of the report. For instance, they talk about sponsorship deals. Okay. For instance, they talk about the Etisalat deal. And for that one, they've taken out the actual value of the deal. They don't say what the deal is worth. For some of the Etihad stuff, they actually say what, they talk about some numbers. So some organizations, I guess, didn't want what they said or what their once them kept private. Yeah. So they've had to redact that. So I don't know what the reasons are, but I know lots of, you see lots of black bits in there on the pages. So they have taken a fair bit away. But it's interesting. I'm just obviously still reading stuff as it comes in, because I read a certain bit. I read a certain amount myself. And then I'm just now, things like basic stuff like the first few pages, the 9 clubs who voted with people like Man United, people like Liverpool, who are, Man United and Liverpool will strangle these other teams if they needed to. They don't care. And once again, you're getting clubs voting. It's a crazy thing. I don't want to talk about politics, but it's like Saatchi and Saatchi, who were doing publicity and advertising for and marketing, or whatever you want to call it, PR for the Conservative Party. And they basically said, you're getting people voting for the party in the hope that they'll be rich and whatever like them, and then they look at who's going to help us the best. So why would you go along with Man United and Liverpool? I just don't understand it. So I'm still looking at stuff as we go. What other people, some people have read. I'm just trying to see if anybody's read anything, different. I'm just having a look. Sorry, I'm a little reading. Mark Ogden. This is a great tweet. 93 pages in CAS findings is a lot to digest. In terms of the fine detail, worth following Tariq Panja, Mark Otti, Martin Ziegler, Rob Harris, all impartial with no vested interest. I'm going to write. I've got to write. I can't actually repeat the word. Because how can you talk about impartial? They talk about they're not impartial. Anyway, Mark Ogden's a low-level knuckle dragger as well. So I'm just go looking down to see. Really, we're having to go about it was a witch hunt. It wasn't the hateful 8; it was a nefarious 9. It wasn't just 8 clubs; it was 9. It's almost half the Premier League, and it's noticeable who didn't get involved. The clubs lower down the pecking order, the ones who are not going to be looking for European football at any time. I'm just gonna. I forgot to. I'm gonna just quickly include a few people so that they know that this that I actually have done this. Normally what I do is I stick this out so people know we're in the house and we're around on Twitter. But it is absolutely ludicrous what some of these idiots have done. You know, I mean, those clubs, it stinks. It really tried to do to City. Honestly, I mean, what they've done is disgusting. It's appalling, in my opinion. What they tried to do to City, what they tried to get away with, you know, and as I said, I really do hope that it comes back to bite them on the backside, because they don't deserve anything better. They don't deserve it at all for what they've tried to do behind the scenes, what they've tried to do, you know, behind our backs. And now we know who they are. Now we know what's gone on. I really do seriously hope that we take them to task. I really hope that we sort them out. Whenever we get a chance, you know, why don't we just say, right, we're not going to do what you guys want. We're not going to do what you guys want. We'll do something else. Yeah, we're not going to be bothered about what you guys want, big clubs. I can understand there's some slight problems with that idea. Because you've got this issue where if you could end up cutting off your own notice part of your face, because look, City are a club that want to make as much money as possible. So, you know, City will do things for their own benefit as well. But it is really, really interesting to see how they've treated City. It really is, all these other clubs. But look, they'll get there. Hopefully, they'll get there. You know, karma will get them. They'll get their comeuppance at some point. Let's just quickly read what you got to say. Hi, Brian. Thank you very much. Hash Browns, I hope you're well. No, Friday, Hash Browns. Get on. The last one is finishing on Friday. That thumbnail. Astria, thanks very much. Respect to Sheffield United, they were the only team in the top 10 not to be salty. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I don't understand. You know, they just kept their heads down. That's it. You know, and that's what's good about what they did. They just kept their heads down and said, we'll focus on ourselves. Let's not, you know, go down that route. Let's focus on ourselves. And I'm glad they did. You know, sadly, they not made it into Europe. Hi, Pete. Everybody like this video. Get those likes in, guys. If you're new to the channel, give us a follow, because, you know, I'd like to think we put a bit of effort in to bring you the news pretty much, you know, very soon after it's happened. I would have brought it to you sooner, but I want to do two things. I wanted to do that thumbnail. That was important, to get that thumbnail. And I wanted to wear this T-shirt. So I had to go and... it's one of these T-shirts that actually is too small for me. So it's in a bag somewhere. And I had to go and find it, iron it. And I just thought... And if I could find my ukulele, I'd be leaning on a lamppost. I'd be get my ukulele out. It's my pretend guitar. Afternoon, Nick Crown Faris. Guys... do you prefer to have KB Aguero? KDB, we're not doing too bad with that Aguero at the moment. I was going to do another video about the Champions League situation, you know, with... I was going to do another video about the Champions League situation. Obviously, that Real Madrid player getting... I forgot his name now. That Real Madrid kid testing positive for COVID-19. More than likely, he won't be coming. That's Mariano Diaz. So the Dominican striker, most likely he won't, you know, come for the game. And there was thoughts that it would be in jeopardy. I never for 1 minute thought it was in jeopardy. Stu Brennan very quickly said there's a good chance apparently that the game will be called off and will be awarded the tie. I never thought UEFA would chuck it in like that, you know, because UEFA could just turn it around and say, let's all go to Portugal. If Portugal let you know, go to Lisbon and let Madrid in, what's the problem? Real Madrid had this exemption from the UK government to be able to come in and play, even so they didn't need to quarantine. Now, the only issue would be because obviously one of their players, it's not just that you've flown over and you're going to quarantine, quarantine or not, as the case may be. I don't know how it affects you if you are a contact or you've come into contact with somebody who has tested positive. I don't know how that affects it, but UEFA fight tooth and nail to find a way to make that tie happen. And they might have just said, look, you know, if the UK government won't let Real Madrid in for whatever reason, then we'll play the game in Portugal if we can. So, you know, I was going to do that, but I've told you about it now. Blackpool Blu-ray, hope you well. So what's that? Just going for work, nothing to report. No, not really. Basically what they've said, Colin, is that City didn't cooperate. They said if City had cooperated fully with the paperwork and the evidence that they showed to CAS, then CAS believes that maybe UEFA would have come to the same conclusions CAS did. And that's one of the main reasons City were fined for not cooperating. But as let's think about it. You've been stitched up. Why would you share your evidence with them when you know there's another body that you can go to? They've stitched you up left, right, and center. So why give them this in advance? I mean, I like it. Why give them this to work on in advance? Go to CAS and shove it in front of CAS, independent, and they'll make the decision. Now, it's possible UEFA could have come to the same decision. I suspect that's what UEFA would have come to a similar decision, even if they had all the evidence City provided. And so basically, that's why City have been got that €10 million fine, and everything else has been chucked out. You know, basically, CAS have said, you know, they don't believe City should be banned from the Champions League simply for not cooperating with UEFA and their investigation, which I agree. What would you give the unlimited chances, Ikram? I don't know what you guys are talking about at the moment. Anyway, that's the hearing. That's the report. It's great news for City. More exoneration. You know, sadly, you're getting people who are gonna. The journalists are still gonna fight their corner. Still gonna fight their corner. And I'm sure no one's going to reply to the message I just sent to Ogden. Here we go. This is what Simon Evans is saying. Okay, Simon Evans. He's a Reuters sports news and football correspondent. He said, one key element in the CAS ruling, they accepted the leaked City emails as evidence. City didn't call them leaked. UEFA did, and CAS accepted that it was leaked. City said they were stolen. But ruled that UEFA did not prove that the matters discussed in them were actually acted upon. Also, those emails, with one exception, were internal, i.e. not sent to sponsors or UAE entities. Let's see if there's anything else up there. Here's what Dan Rohn. CAS Hero Man City obstruction. Failure to produce the original versions of the leaked emails is particularly serious. Majority of the panel finds that City's failure to cooperate with FFP investigation is a severe breach. Talks of blatant disregard for cooperation. They've got to find a reason to be negative. Yeah. What Mark McLachlan says, it's a blatant disregard of an investigation process by a body that had been judge, jury, and executioner using inadmissible emails. Is it any wonder Man City were reluctant to cooperate? And this is, you know, Dan Rohn is talking a load of rubbish. Yeah. I'm just reading what else is out there. I've got to like some of these. But look, you know, so yeah, it is really interesting what's going on. And look, I mean, I've changed my header for a few hours at least. I'll have this the conclusion on my homepage. Have I got the Nefarious 9 on my profile page now? Now I've got the conclusion on my page. But that's look, you know, it's fantastic. Again, City exon. There is no evidence that agreements were backdated or that MCFC otherwise retrospectively tried to cover up any alleged violations following the publication of the leaked emails. And they were stolen. They were hacked. They were not leaked. You know, leaked sounds like someone from inside leaked them. City is saying someone from outside stole them, and I think that's, you know, what happened. They were stolen from outside. So that's a bit puzzling why they'll still go down that. But anyway, the bottom line is City exonerated more and more. And the more these idiots, the journalists who are going to keep trying to pin something on City, keep throwing mud, hoping something sticks, the more that they're going to look, they're going to just embarrass themselves. Right, guys, it was only meant to be a short stream focused on the at least a little bit informative. I know you guys talking about players. I'm going to save that for tonight. I'm going to save that tonight. Watch the video I've put out today, guys, about the 6 players I think will come into City or could come into City. There'll be more. There's, and I want to discuss that tonight. Is there anyone else that you'd want? Is there anyone you don't want from the list? Is there, because we have capacity for more if we can get we can get homegrowns in, I think. So we do have a little bit more capacity. So just let me know what you think, guys. Just let me know what you think. Give us a thumbs up if you're new to the channel. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. Yeah. And make sure you hit that bell icon so you're notified as soon as new videos come out. GSG, how you doing, mate? Send me that email, GSGA. Tonight should be 9 o'clock. That's in my mind. I've got no other plans. If GSGA sends me an email and I can speak to one of his parents, he will be coming on tonight. That's it. I've just got to have that word with the parents to get their permission because he's under 18. All right, not today, but whenever you're ready, send me an email. We do that. We'll get you on. Okay. And if you guys, if you're 18 or over, you can come on the channel. No problems. We'll have a chat. So, guys, take care, and we'll see you, later. Hopefully about 9 o'clock. Cheers, guys.